and I look at that co-main event as just from there. She came out in the breads, so she was already walking my favorite shoes.
Oh yeah.
But when I look at what they did or what they did together, and if we had our stat guy on right now, he'd pull it up. But Millie, I'm rooting for you. I hope you come back to us soon. But when I look at when you pull that Jake Paul Tyson fight up, and I'm really glad I got this LG TV right now. Shout out to LG that gets us going. And we pull it up. um, what they draw? They drew like 60 million people watched that Amanda Serrano fight.
Yeah, that's why
Right?
Netflix went under, bro. There were so many people watching.
Did you watch it?
I couldn't. It kept getting thrown off. Kept
Man,
buffering.
I didn't get thrown off one time. I got some pretty bad buffering, and other than that, like it was pretty bad. Like I was watching the event, and then I was like, all right, so I don't know if I'm watching this illegally or whatnot. I don't know if I'm watching this illegally, but I feel like this stream should not be there. And it was just overall from the performance wise of what Netflix should have brought to the table, should have probably asked the promotion to promote them for them because everything was off. Where the red corner came out first, didn't know how that was supposed to happen. Like I was like, red corner comes out first. Isn't red corner is like the number one person? Like they're supposed to come out second, and whenever they didn't come out, I was shocked. But I was overall, like I said, whenever you really put it together, and I'm working on pulling up this card, but when I really put together and think about what Netflix did or what they did for boxing, I really think that it was a win. It was a win in the fact that the average person got to watch the fight that they probably wouldn't have got to watch on any other platform, on any other scene, and any other card. Now, was that the best fight on the card? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I think you and I can both agree that co-main event may have been the best fight of the year. Could have gone down as fight of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. I mean, it was a hell of a fight, man. They showed up and they showed out. So, props to them. Hell of a job.
Well, what was the name of the card? The card was called what?
The name of the card, as far as for the Tyson fight?
The Tyson fight.
That's a good question, bro. I mean, I know it was a whole MVP promotion, but I mean, as far as the card,
probably MVP. Let's go.
But you know what? I've tried looking them up, and I don't know how a company supposedly that big, like they don't post, man. Like they're not on there, man. Like I try to find. I know on Instagram they had like a page, and it was outdated, and then on the other platforms, I mean, maybe they're on freaking TikTok. I don't know, man, but I couldn't find them.
I found them on Topology. So real quick, we had Jake Paul and Mike Tyson leading the main event. Paul and Tyson. Paul won. Taylor beat Serrano through a headbutt. Now Mario Barrios and the Abel Ramos fight. I think Mario may have been from San Antonio.
Oh yeah, he's a local.
Right, Mario's from San Antonio, but Abel gave him the business.
Yeah,
you would have not expect. I didn't expect that from that. I thought the guy coming out right now that was defending his title, the world welterweight title, WBC, on a Netflix card, he should have went out and showed out. But that Abel Ramos was toe for toe.
Oh yeah,
toe for toe, round for round. I would honestly say that it ain't in a split draw, but I think that Mario only won that fight because he's from San Antonio.
A lot of it, I mean, it was one of those where, I mean, I don't take points. Like I don't keep an eye on who struck the most. I'm not that guy. But just from like the damage and the fact that he took it to him, I mean, it's just it's one of those jobs I would hate to have, bro. Because as a judge or being out there, being in charge, man, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of stress, man. So, like they say, it's like, I mean,
absolutely. No, I totally agree about it being just a lot, and it being a lot of just being able to just to work in that moment. But we saw a fight to where the champion was losing the fight.
Yeah.
Again, and it may be only the Texas Commission, because I know that we're in a commission right now that has very little. I love my commission. I love Texas. I love what we're doing. I love what we're doing with the sport. I love where we're growing. I love where we're going. But the one thing I do say is that we're behind, man.
Oh yeah, dude. As a state, yeah. I mean, there's something
I
that
listen to this podcast. I love to know that you do things that aren't right sometimes. I don't want to pick fuss, but I know that the commission in Texas needs some reevaluation and we may need some new leadership. I know I don't have a problem with there, but I kind of gonna grab my head and leave it at one point to say that whenever a person that runs the commission, when a person that's a lead in the commission owns a promotion, and that promotion gets favorable feedback, that's a problem.
yeah.
I'm not gonna say any
No,
names, but
yeah.
there aren't very many promotions in the building that can honestly say that they understand what's going on. But the playing field is not fair in Texas, and I know that's not what we're talking about tonight. But the playing field is not fun in Texas, so we're gonna swing this back over to Paul versus Tyson. And go ahead and look at that undercard where we talked about Mario, who's from San Antonio, and it won a split decision draw against Abel Ramos. But I also have to think about two fights on that undercard that kind of surprised me with that Goyat,
Yeah.
and the Winterson Nunez. Winterson
Yeah.
Nunez, I telling you, I was like, who is this Goyat guy that's a professional Indian boxer that's coming out, doing what he's doing, taking care of business. He looks rusty. He looks tired.
I think I lost you, brother. Hold on. Give me a second. See if the thing buffers out. I don't know if you can hear me, but I lost you for a second. So for those watching, of course, make sure and follow us. Read the label going at the bottom. Find us on Facebook, of course, Off Script Sports, Instagram as well, Off Script Sports. Give us a follow, support. You right there, brother? I lost you. I could barely hear you. Just trying to plug in the page, man. Lost volume, bro. I can't hear you. Look at the on the comments on the page itself for the StreamYard. There should be a comments on top. You can actually message through there. Let me see if I can message you right quick. It's like a private message. But yeah, I can't hear you, bro. Hello? Well, actually, I think you muted yourself. Check your mute button real quick. Let me hold on. Let me see. I try to unmute you, but it says
There
there
we
you
go.
go.
So I'm unmuted. I don't know how I muted myself.
I,
I'm not even touching my mouse. I'm
no,
not
yeah, I was
touching
gonna say I
anything.
think because it threw you off. You probably just your settings probably changed.
Oh, well, I did set it if I'm not talking in the microphone to cut me off. So that might be what it is. So let me
Got
cut that back on to where that it just stays on. Automatically adjust mic volume, reduce mic volume. All right, let's check it out. All right, let's see if we can leave that there. Boom. All right, back to what we were saying. Oh, we're looking at that fight and we're looking at that 309 card. I mean, sorry, at that Tyson Paul card. And I was talking to you about the undercard fight that had the gentleman name, I think his name was Gore. Gore?
yes.
Right? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Niraja Goyat and Winterson Nunez. What do you think about that fight?
It was a scrapper, dude. I mean, from what I saw, both guys showed, definitely wanted to win, man. But I mean, when they came to power, I mean, it was for me. I don't want to say it was one sided, but One of them probably wanted it more than the other, man.
Now it said that when I looked at it, it looked like that Anderson took that fight on 2 weeks' notice.
Yeah,
I think they
well, I
ended
think
up,
they discussed his weight cut. I don't know if he had a bad weight cut coming in
you know?
because of the short notice, but I mean, that's just what I mean. He took the fight, man. I mean, that's still, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
that's the
a great
99. When
opportunity,
you
but
take the fight, you make the weight, but he ended up missing weight. I think about he missed weight by a pound and a half.
yeah, he was off by a bit.
Yeah, but he came in looking chubby. Came in looking
Oh yeah,
soft. I think he took that fight because it was on Netflix. It was going to
I
be a
think.
big
I mean,
payday.
he was probably at the bar when they got the the uh the fight, man. I ain't gonna lie. A lot of these guys are just home chilling, and they're like, "You want to fight? Okay." But yeah,
Yeah, but the guy he fought, I mean, he didn't really bring much. He just kind of looked like he was in better shape. Like
yeah,
he
no,
didn't really do much more than anything. He won the fight, yeah, but he didn't. There were no moments of the fight that I thought that the
no,
fight
man,
was
nothing.
better than an amateur fight. I just thought that this fight right here was the one leading into the pay-per-view or the main broadcast, and it wasn't it gave me more than what I wanted. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I thought that fight was. I thought I don't know when I originally looked at the fight, I was like, "Who's this guy from India? India can't produce any boxers." Then I watched him walk through this guy named Winderson Nunez, and he didn't walk. He walked through him like pretty much. He dominated him for the 6 rounds. So he's actually trying to fight Jake Paul. So who knows? He may be on Jake Paul's next card, fighting him
I'm
again.
excited.
He wants to fight him in India. He said he wanted to fight Jake Paul in India to go ahead and bring that back. So he's asking Jake Paul to come out and watch 1 billion people watch him fight. So
I
I
wonder
wouldn't be
if they do. I
surprised.
wonder what they're gonna have to. Who's gonna stream the fight, bro?
At this point, I think MVP Promotions has already seen their payday. I think that Jake knows how to make money, and I think that he's just gonna go the Netflix route for the rim run out. I mean, the bar is set. It's not very high. Like
Yeah.
we've seen the bar. The bar isn't high. The bar for Netflix, the bar for these streaming sites, they didn't really they didn't really put a great production together. The commentating wasn't great. The announcers weren't great. I love the ring announcer. He was a great guy, but he really didn't bring the energy. I just think that for what it
Yeah.
could have been a better performance just all around, just by having a few more professionals in the realm.
No, and I was gonna say too, man, because everybody else got paid. I think they could have paid everybody else a little bit better. Just
Yeah,
to bring, like you said, bring a an announcer that would sell the fight, to bring a commentator that would bring the fight. I mean, it's just, yeah, it was that big of a fight, and for it not to be like people be going crazy about it, man, it just kind of killed the mood. But
absolutely. And I couldn't say it more. And they had great guys on there. They didn't. It
oh yeah,
wasn't like they shortcutted on the announcers, saying that the announcers they weren't talented because they I believe they brought on. I saw the three announcers that were on. We had Cody Mamontes on there. And Ariel was there. The boom, boom, boom. Amir Tyson. We had Roy Jones Jr. We had Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez is really big in New York. Granted, we all think of her as J Lo's backup dancer.
oh yeah.
But they brought on a a B squad, but the B squad wasn't a bad squad. They just didn't really work well together.
No,
They
no, you see,
weren't playing off each other, especially when the sound went out and then they were looking at legends of boxing in the announcing booth or on it, and they're like, I can't hear you.
yeah,
I think there was a point in time to where I think Holyfield got on and Holyfield was talking to Roy, but Roy couldn't hear him, and Roy was like, his mic's out, I can't hear him, and this is live. You know, million
yeah,
dollar million dollar production,
bro,
and we can't get
exactly, dude. You see,
we
and
can't
that's
get
what I'm
these things
saying,
out.
man. I mean, I don't know how they could have had that many hiccups.
Yeah,
But I mean, yeah, it's just it seemed like one of those things where people were preparing, but they didn't prepare correctly. Obviously, I mean, towards the end, it's like, okay, they got all these big names, like you mentioned, like Foreman, Perez, and all these people, but like nobody paid attention to the tech side of everything, because yeah, it's good to have big names, but at the same time, I mean, your production's got to be top
A1.
tier, man.
It's got to be a one. You're Netflix. You
Yeah,
produce all the time. Like the one thing you do, I'm vaguely remember a conversation that I remember having with or interview seeing with Denzel Washington. He was like, live is way different than tape. Like
oh
you got all the control whenever you're filming a movie. Cut,
yeah,
cut, cut, cut,
edit,
cut,
edit,
start
edit.
over.
Dude, and yes, that's true, man. I mean, and it's like even running these, bro. Like, I mean, as I tell people, if I fumble or I stumble on something, man, I just keep going, bro. I mean, you can't stop. It's just it's live, so of course people are paying attention. And I ain't perfect, man. I mean, of course, we don't have a producer, we don't have somebody running our tech side, so we gotta do everything ourselves. But for the most part, we're gonna make it happen, man.
That is true, but these people did have the money.
Oh
They did
yeah,
have the people. They had everyone there, and they didn't do it. The huge downside on this card was there was not a knockout. I
yeah.
figured that it would have been at least full of like at least two knockouts.
Oh yeah,
But you got a unanimous, a draw, a unanimous, a split, a majority, and a unanimous. And so to see all those go down and where they go down in Texas, the judging was all over the place.
yeah, it's bro.
Uh, but
You see, and that's one of those like I tell fighters, man. Like when they go out there, a lot of times, it mentally it does change when they show up to win and when they show up not to lose. Because when
yeah,
they show up not to lose, they're not taking risks. They're not doing too much. They're not, they're just taking too much precaution, man. And I mean, I'm not a fighter, so I'm not gonna say like, hey, they shouldn't be doing that. But at the same time, if you're not taking chances or you're not creating opportunities, man, I mean, the chances of you winning are pretty slim.
I do believe that, and especially just in general, it's the fighter that's aggressive. The aggressive fighter tends to always win. You never want to leave it in the hands of the judges.
Oh, not at all.
And that's the one thing that whenever you're talking to these young fighters or you're talking to people that's growing, and you really want to let them know, it's like, man, hey, you got to have a plan going in. And like everyone says, Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody has a plan to get punched in the
Oh
face.
yes. Yeah.
And then once you get punched in the face and you feel somebody's right or you feel somebody's overhand and you feel that,
Oh
you
yeah.
kind of really know what's going on. Which leads us into this next one, to this biggest one that we had this last week, the UFC 309, Jones versus Amir Kuchet.
Bro.
And wait, I've got to talk about the giraffe or the gorilla in the room. When you talk about Jones and you talk about Aspinall, but Jones did what no one thought he would do.
Yeah.
No one gave him any hope. No one gave him any chance. People thought that Jones was laying off for 3 years. And then he gets in his post-conference interview and he tells us about Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Talks about doing one thing right, doing one thing right over and over. He said a man can have 1,000 kicks, but if a man perfects one kick over
Bro.
one span of time, that kick is gonna go. So I
And it
did
did.
and it did. And I did some research and digged into more of the kick, and it looks like he learned that kick from a movie star. I think his name was Michael Key. Michael K.
Oh damn. Okay. Think I lost you, bro. Hold on. Let me give me a second, guys. If you can hear me, brother, I think I lost you again. I'm gonna keep talking while you jump back on. So for those watching, of course, we're gonna be this is gonna be our intro. Of course, we're just talking sports, bringing past fights that just happened. I mean, UFC 309 that just went out. I mean, this was with Jones. Here getting the win. Was he gonna fight Tom Aspinall? We shall see. But waiting for Jesse Green to get back on here, guys. You can hear me, brother. You're frozen. Got you like Sub-Zero over here, man. I forgot how to do that move, but you get the point, get the picture. But for those following along, appreciate everybody. Of course, like I said, our handles on the bottom on Facebook and Instagram is Off Script Sports. I think I lost him, but he'll be jumping back on. And of course, the YouTube channel is going to be popping. For the meantime, it is going to be on the Coming Soon podcast. Go to the playlist. I'm going to have it on its own channel on there. It's going to be Off Script Sports, of course. And my name is sPidA. I am here in San Antonio, Texas. Jesse Green out there in the HTX area. Let's see for the man to get back on. For those watching, of course, as far as my background, been running through MMA combat sports in 1999. Started here in San Antonio, Texas, with Mike Rangel Aletudo. Years grappling, gi, no gi, doing all that thing. Got into media. My boy Chris Lopez Jr., TexasFighting.com. Took a break from that years in. I think it was like 2007, maybe. Started DeFi Car Podcast about 3 years ago. Put that to rest. Let's go ahead and jump on this with Jesse Green. So, of course, we're going to be running the Off Script Sports podcast. And as I mentioned, of course, right now we're just going to go ahead and go through the ringer, trying to get all the bells and whistles set up. And we'll see if the man is going to jump back on. Having some technical difficulties, but that's what we're doing is we're trying to get everything set up and see. But I think he's done on his end. But nonetheless, everybody, of course, make sure and follow up. We're gonna keep running these. We're gonna have fighters on here. We're gonna have coaches. We're gonna try to get, just through myself and Jesse Green alone. We know a lot of people, so we're gonna be running those. We got this gentleman right here doing a raffle giveaway. So, of course, if you know him, he's from here in San Antonio, Texas. A master at his craft, of course, out there getting the fight game, whether it's MMA, combat sports, jiu-jitsu. If you need photography, definitely reach out to him. But he's going to be doing that raffle. I believe it's going to be towards academies. Of course, there's a list that he's going to be contacting. So if you want to be a part of that, definitely look him up, get that going. But yes, the off-grid sports. I was just talking to my man, Jesse Green. We're talking about the UFC 309. For those that watched, John Jones defeated Stipe Miocic. We got Oliveira taking on Chandler, got the win, unanimous. Bo Nickal, of course, unanimous decision against Paul Craig. That was a great fight. Vivian Araujo defeated Karine Silva. A lot of great bouts on there, man. UFC 309. Gonna have UFC 310, which we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna be chopping down the BKFC bout that's coming up in Atlanta, I believe. That's gonna be in December, so that one's gonna be great. Might have one of the fighters on there jump on and talk fights. And for those following up, like I mentioned, make sure and follow us. We're gonna be here, there, and everywhere. And as always, till next time, follow up.